Yorkton, a small town nestled in southeastern Saskatchewan, became the stage for a baffling series of events. 16-year-old Mikayla Briley vanished on the morning of April 12, 2016, leaving her family, friends, and the police grappling with unanswered questions. It began as an ordinary day. Mikayla and her mother, Paula, shared a morning together before Mikayla's grandmother drove her to Sacred Heart High School near Hopkins Lake. However, it soon became clear that this day was anything but ordinary. At 10 a.m., Mikayla's friend Shelby received a peculiar text message. "Hey, I need help!" Shelby, who didn't have her phone at school, saw the message too late. 20 minutes later, Mikayla sent a second message. "Never mind, I figured it out." These were the last words anyone close to Mikayla received from her. It was later discovered that she had left the school before her grandmother arrived to pick her up. On the day of her disappearance, Shelby and other friends recalled Mikayla mentioning potential trips to Moose Jaw or Prince Albert. She had also talked about a family vacation to Regina. Some friends noticed her odd behavior the day before. She spoke of a boy named Josh but remained tight-lipped about the details. A teacher described Mikayla as distraught during class. That evening, Paula's attempts to contact her daughter were unsuccessful. Initially, she assumed Mikayla might be at music lessons, as they had practiced the previous evening for an upcoming concert, but she wasn't there. Soon after, Mikayla's grandmother headed to Paula's workplace to share the grim news. Her granddaughter was missing. The police swiftly launched an investigation. Their initial step was to retrace Mikayla's activities in the hours leading up to her disappearance. It was revealed that she had asked a friend for a ride to the bank. Mikayla had made several calls to the TD Bank customer service, checked her balance, and transferred $25. But these actions offered no real insight into what had happened to the girl. A search of Paula's home yielded nothing that hinted at Mikayla's plans to leave. Money stored in an emergency box remained untouched, and her phone charger was still at home, ruling out the possibility of a long-term departure. On the evening of April 12th, Paula Briley officially reported her daughter missing. Paula returned home to gather photographs of Mikayla to aid the search. Fear began to set in. There were no clues pointing to Mikayla's intentions, and the more she pondered, the fewer answers she found. Between 8 p.m. and midnight that evening, Mikayla sent several messages to her friends, including her ex-boyfriend. In one message, she stated that she needed help but didn't specify what kind. She also mentioned a boy who was sympathetic and crying. The ex-boyfriend recalled Mikayla telling him she was unhappy and considering leaving town for a few days. A friend, Amy, mentioned the name Christopher, who was allegedly planning to visit Saskatchewan to meet Mikayla. The police carefully examined the day before the disappearance. On April 11th, Mikayla had lunch with friends, during which she shared her thoughts about a trip. Her behavior raised questions among her friends, but no one took it seriously. After lunch, she returned to school, but her teacher noticed she seemed depressed. Friends and relatives working with the police tried to recall as many details as possible. Some recalled her conversations about a boy named Josh, as well as the name Christopher, who was allegedly going to come. These mentions added mystery to the situation, but did not give a clear answer. The vanishing of Mikayla Briley cast a long shadow over Yorkton, a riddle wrapped in an enigma that continues to baffle investigators. For her family and friends, the question of what transpired on that fateful day remains a haunting unknown. In the immediate aftermath, law enforcement delved into her connections and potential arrangements, but the truth stubbornly eludes their grasp. Mikayla's disappearance has become one of the most perplexing cases in the small town's history. The investigation unfolded, revealing conflicting accounts and raising more questions than answers, each new detail ratcheting up the tension. The first significant clue emerged from the day of her disappearance. Surveillance footage placed Mikayla near her school around 3 p.m., seemingly waiting for someone. This detail immediately piqued the interest of the police, as her mother, Paula, insisted that Mikayla never missed classes, including her violin lessons. Approximately 4 hours after she was last seen, her mother reported her missing. Mikayla's phone records offered little insight. By 7 a.m. the following day, her phone was dead. An analysis of cell tower data showed no outgoing calls that might shed light on her intentions. The only leads were her activities on Snapchat, Instagram, and Kik, apps known for their anonymity. Investigating these digital avenues proved challenging due to the limited access to data from these services. It came to light that Mikayla had been communicating online with individuals from different cities and even countries, including a man from the United States. 2 days later, the police appealed to the public for assistance. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police issued a description of Mikayla. She stands at 5 feet 2 inches, weighs 125 pounds, has blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen wearing a burgundy or purple coat, a turquoise scarf, and jeans. The community rallied together in a determined search. The mayor of the town noted that the disappearance of the schoolgirl has caused alarm among residents. The investigation began to reveal a series of perplexing details. A friend of Mikayla's, Oksana, told the police that not long before her disappearance, Mikayla had mentioned having $5,000. However, a review of Mikayla's financial records did not substantiate this claim. An Instagram post from weeks prior to her vanishing, in which Mikayla asked someone to add her on Snapchat, also piqued interest. A man named Christopher from North Carolina emerged as a significant figure. He had been mentioned in Mikayla's conversations and was known to her friends. One friend recalled Mikayla mentioning Christopher's plans to visit Saskatchewan. In an interview, Christopher stated he had previously assisted individuals with psychological issues, including self-harm, but declined to elaborate. Police questioned him and searched his home, but found no evidence linking him to the case. Adding to the complexity, some friends claimed that Mikayla was trying to locate her biological father, whom she believed to be deceased. Subsequently, a man named Rick came forward, suggesting he might be her father. Police searched his home, collected DNA samples, but found no connection to Mikayla's disappearance. These events only deepened the mystery surrounding her case. Shortly before she vanished, Mikayla mentioned someone named Josh, yet police were unable to identify him. A week before her disappearance, she received a bouquet of roses, but the sender was ruled out as a suspect. Each new detail seemed to raise more questions than answers. The investigation continued, but many mysteries remained unresolved. Mikayla's disappearance captured the attention of her family and the entire community. The course of the investigation was fraught with conflicting information, complicating the police's efforts. One of the initial leads was a Snapchat message sent by Shelby. 3 months after Mikayla's disappearance, the message was read, sparking a new wave of hope. However, subsequent messages from Shelby, sent on graduation day, went unanswered, intensifying the family's distress. As the General Investigation Section took over the case, police focused on Mikayla's connection with unknown men. Witnesses claimed to have seen her at the bus station on the day of her disappearance, accompanied by a heavily built man with a burning cross tattoo. The man was located, but it turned out he had only held the door open for her and had no involvement in her vanishing. Simultaneously, investigators examined Mikayla's social media and bank records, but the lack of a digital trail was concerning, adding to the enigmatic nature of her disappearance. Also, police thoroughly investigated the possibility of a hotel booking, suspecting Mikayla might have planned to stay in town. However, she was not seen at any hotels, and security footage did not capture her attempting to check in. Mikayla's family members tried to support each other, but life without her became a constant state of waiting. They maintained round-the-clock telephone vigils, eager to answer any call. For her mother, Paula, the disappearance of her daughter was a profound tragedy. She felt that she had failed to protect Mikayla and keep her safe. Paula expressed hope that the reward offered by the family would help generate attention and provide new information. The reward amount reached $25,000 thanks to the combined efforts of the community and Crime Stoppers. Amidst these developments, it emerged that Mikayla had allegedly mentioned possessing oxycodone. However, after investigating, police determined it was Oxycare, a common acne treatment. A neighbor also recalled Mikayla mentioning money in her account shortly before her disappearance, although records showed this to be untrue. Additional information about the activation of an Amber Alert in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta brought renewed attention to the case. However, this measure did not yield the expected results. Police continued to receive tips from citizens, but none of the 38 leads checked out. Over the months, the Yorkton community supported the family through various events and fundraisers. Children's groups, teenagers, and churches collected funds and demonstrated incredible solidarity. Despite the community's efforts, each day without news only intensified Mikayla's relatives' feelings of helplessness. The key realization was that the investigation had stalled. Mikayla could be anywhere, but without new information, finding her became increasingly challenging. The investigation continued, but neither the police nor the family could answer the fundamental question: what happened to Mikayla? The vanishing of Mikayla Briley plunged her family into chaos and emotional turmoil. Yet the search for the young woman never faltered. Despite the lack of concrete leads, the quest began with reported sightings. One of the first came from Metrotown Mall in British Columbia. Paula, her mother, driven by hope, rushed to the mall. She handed out flyers and spoke with shoppers and staff, but her efforts were in vain. This was just one of many false leads. Reports trickled in from Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton, each ending in disappointment. The search extended into the troubled parts of Vancouver. Paula ventured into the city's downtown east side, an area known for homelessness and drug issues. Despite her fears that Mikayla might be in such a place, Paula pressed on. She visited shelters and spoke with locals, but her efforts remained fruitless. The emotional toll was immense. Each day without news was a trial. Mikayla's siblings struggled to adjust to life without her. For Paula, acceptance was an impossibility. She took leave from work to focus on the search, believing it was her duty as a mother to never give up. She maintained that people don't simply disappear and someone must know something. The investigation officially moved to a new phase a year after Mikayla's disappearance. In April of 2017, her case was assigned to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's Historical Crimes Unit. Paula also confronted the social implications of her daughter's vanishing. She noted that until one experiences such a tragedy, it's impossible to grasp the devastation it causes. Everyday routines like dinner or trying to sleep served as constant reminders of Mikayla's absence. Over the following months, numerous false leads emerged, including a reported sighting in Burnaby, which, like the others, proved unsubstantiated. Still, Paula clung to the belief that every lead needed to be investigated, seeing it as her maternal duty. The community rallied around the family, organizing events and campaigns across Canada. Paula expressed gratitude, stating that it might take a whole nation to find one person. Despite these efforts, uncertainty remained. Mikayla was last seen at a bus depot in Yorkton at night. Since then, there had been no confirmed sightings. Each day brought more questions than answers. Paula was certain that Mikayla needed help and felt it was her duty as a mother to continue the fight, despite the ambiguity and lack of results. In August of 2019, Paula received a call from a man who claimed to have seen Mikayla a few months earlier, in March, near a nightclub in Edmonton. He said he had spoken to a young woman who introduced herself as Mikayla, and she seemed naive and out of place. This tip spurred Paula to contact the police once more, but as before, it yielded no tangible results. In July of 2017, a dive team searched Hopkins Lake behind Sacred Heart High School. The RCMP stated that this was standard procedure, but the lake offered no clues. The following year, in March of 2018, the Briley family initiated a Ray of Hope, a campaign to raise the reward for information about Mikayla's whereabouts to $50,000. Paula became a prominent speaker at events related to missing children, emphasizing the need for task forces, like those in the U.S., to respond more effectively. Thousands of posters featuring Mikayla were displayed throughout Canada and the U.S. By 2020, the reward amount was halved after a major donor withdrew their funds. In a Facebook post, Paula expressed gratitude for any support, but also shared her frustration with the lack of progress. The search of Hopkins Lake on August the 15th of 2017 was just one of many steps taken by the police that Paula felt produced no real results. In the 14 months following her daughter's disappearance, Paula received nearly 240 leads, yet none provided a breakthrough, causing her profound frustration. She often expressed her disbelief that, after so long, the police had no new information. On July 1st, 2018, the day before Mikayla's birthday, the family held a charity event to raise awareness. This date, like many others, was particularly difficult for Paula, who admitted the hope for sudden news from her daughter became almost unbearable on such days. Amidst these events in March of 2018, Paula continued to advocate for reorganizing the approach to missing children cases in Canada, suggesting utilizing SASH's experience. This included not only professional search operations, but also general support for families in similar situations. The National Center for Missing Children suggested in July of 2017 that Mikayla might have left Canada for the U.S., possibly Portland or Seattle. However, this theory was never confirmed. By 2019, 2 years after her disappearance, despair mixed with rare glimmers of hope. Every new tip could be a turning point, but time and again, they led to dead ends. In 2022, police, in conjunction with the Washington State Patrol, launched an initiative under the Homeward Bound program designed to find missing persons. Semi-trucks traveling between Mexico and Vancouver displayed photos of Mikayla, accompanied by an age progression image. This program, initiated in 2005 by Washington State Trooper Ren Padgett, aims to raise awareness about missing individuals. Mikayla's photo on these trucks became a symbol of resilience and hope for her family. 5 years after Mikayla's disappearance, her family organized a ceremony near her high school. Participants began with prayers and a moment of silence, followed by shared memories and words of support. This event was deeply emotional, but yielded no new clues about Mikayla's whereabouts. 6 years after her disappearance, a press conference announced an increase in the reward to $100,000, thanks to anonymous donations. The mayor of Yorkton, Mitch Hipsey, emphasized the importance of the case to the community. Despite all efforts, over 600 tips and reports have failed to bring real progress. One distressing aspect of the case was the inability to access Mikayla's social media accounts. Police were initially unable to access her Instagram and Snapchat data due to the strict data protection laws in the U.S., where these companies are based. It took 10 months to gain access, revealing a massive amount of information, thousands of pages, that required analysis, further delaying the investigation. This data analysis was supported by other police units. On Mikayla's 20th birthday, her family held a gathering to raise awareness about missing children. Mikayla's mother, Paula, spoke of the fears faced by families of the missing, that their children would become mere statistics, their memories forgotten. About 25 people attended, and Paula urged governments to provide more support to families who have lost loved ones. Years after her disappearance, police still have no theories explaining what happened to Mikayla. Her last contact was with friends, after which her phone went dead. The situation was particularly strange given modern technology, which usually keeps people connected. Investigators believe she might have sought help, asking for a place to stay or money, one of the few working theories. Mikayla's relatives never stopped searching, relying on social media, following up on tips, and maintaining a Facebook page titled "Bring Mikayla Briley Home." Her younger siblings suffered particularly deeply, even ceasing to play their musical instruments, unable to rejoice while their sister was missing. Mikayla's brother couldn't pour himself a drink, feeling guilt and fear that Mikayla might be without food and water. Despite facing unimaginable hardship, the family never relinquished hope. Paula, the mother of Mikayla, shared heart-wrenching moments when her younger children would climb onto her lap, their small voices filled with fear, whispering, "Mommy, I'm scared Mikayla will forget us." To this, she would always reassure them, "She will never forget you, and we will never forget her." Paula's resolve, and that of the entire family, stood as a testament to their resilience and inner strength. On the 6th anniversary of Mikayla's disappearance, another press conference was held, announcing that the reward for credible information had reached $100,000, thanks to community support and anonymous donations. Yet this did not yield any significant breakthroughs. The number of leads surpassed 1,000, but each one ultimately led to a dead end. Throughout 2023, Mikayla's family tirelessly organized events dedicated to finding her, dedicating every spare moment to social media campaigns, traveling to various locations, and responding to countless calls and letters. Mikayla's mother held steadfast to her belief that her daughter would be found, constantly repeating, "Hold on, we're looking for you. Run home when you can." Over time, Mikayla's story became widely known within the community. The Saskatchewan Police and the Washington State Patrol launched a program displaying Mikayla's photo on semi-trucks traveling across North America as part of their ongoing search efforts. These images served as a constant reminder that Mikayla's disappearance was not just a case, but a tragedy that deeply affected many. To this day, investigators have uncovered no evidence to shed light on Mikayla's fate. Officers like Kim Stewart admit they often reflect on the case, explaining how difficult it is to invest so much time and effort into an investigation and then simply give up. Hope lingers, and they remain vigilant, ready to respond to any new information.